I'm sitting here in my living room, playing Kirby 64 Crystal Shards with Project 64 without the internet on August 12, 2012. 2 more days till I get it back, I told myself. 2 more days. I got hungry, so I paused the game, and decided to warm up some leftover Chinese food from last night. Before I could even get up, I heard a knock at the door. I walked up to the door and said, "Who is it?" Silence. I opened the door anyways and saw a game cover for Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance. I couldn't believe my eyes. I've never played Fire Emblem before, so I was really excited about getting the game at my door. There was also a sticky note on it. I took the game, brought it inside, took off the sticky note, and read it. "Play the game. Free me. Help me, please. Sincerely, I." Who's I? I asked myself. I decided to shrug it off and play the game in my bedroom. It took me about 10 minutes to hook up the Wii and find my Wii remote. I lose stuff a lot, so that explains why it took me so long. I opened the cover, but the disc looked off. It was still the same size as a normal GameCube disc, but it was completely white and said Ike with what looked like black Sharpie. Oh well, as long as it's Path of Radiance, I'll play it anyways, I said as I put the disc in my Wii. I went to the block in the menu to start up the game, but then I noticed another thing that was off. Instead of the normal startup screen for GameCube games, besides the part where the Wii said cancel and start, the screen was completely purple. And the weirdest part yet was the music from Lavender Town from Pokemon started playing. "What the hell is going on? This doesn't make any sense!" I exclaimed. I'm not much of a Pokemon person, but I definitely knew that this made no sense. Having Pokemon music in a Fire Emblem game? Then I noticed singing. It was a male voice that sounded just like Ike's. Tick, tick, tock, tick, 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 tock, tick, 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 tock, tick, 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 tock, tick, slowly, gently. Close your eyes and rest now, but morning's light will not wake you again. Think of stars and sweetly dreams on a bright dream. One last time recall a life you once lived. Tick, tick, tock, tick, 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 tock, tick, 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 tock, tick, tick, tock, tick. That friend you met long ago as a kid waits for you to meet him with his white hand. Actions by you made him reach the next world. Maybe by now he will not be angry. Tick, tick, tock, tick, 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 tock, tick, tick, tock, tock, tick, 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 tock, tick. The song seemed to go on in an infinite loop. Suddenly, a black silhouette of Ike showed up on the screen. He looked like he was leaning on the left side of the screen, his arms crossed, but not very noticeable. He opened his eyes to reveal that they were completely red. He also had a wicked grin, stretching from ear to ear, and his teeth were pointed and bloody. While the song was still playing, he broke the fourth wall by saying to me with a dark and deadly tone, "Come on, press start," while pointing to the start button. I was in shock when he broke the fourth wall, but I was even more shocked by his sinister look. "Hey kid, press the damn button already!" Ike shouted at me with a slightly angrier tone. I was so scared, so I shut the TV off. But it suddenly came back on, and Ike spoke to me for the third time. "Hey, what was that for? Are you scared of me?" "Don't be scared. You are my #1 fangirl, after all. Hey, don't say my name. I don't want strangers reading this to know my real name. I only trust my friends with my real name," I exclaimed at Ike, breaking the fourth wall in the process. Fine, let me try that again. "Hey, what was that for? Are you scared of me?" "Don't be scared. You are my #1 fangirl, after all, Scarlet," he replied with a loud sigh. "We're probably gonna need some sledgehammers. We're gonna smash the fourth wall apart," I said with a grin. Ike and I started laughing to each other. After we settled down, Ike said to me, "Are you done?" "Yeah, sorry," I said with a sweat drop. "Alright, so where were we?" "Oh yeah, press the freaking start button already," he said back to me. I pressed the start button, but instead of the game starting right away, Ike said, "Good girl. Now, let's get started, shall we?" The screen turned completely back, and the Lavender Town song stopped playing. I thought that while I had the chance, I could turn the TV off. So I got to the TV as fast as I could, but right before I could shut it off, Ike's head, with black eyes and red irises, suddenly popped up. Holy rainbow tacos in a Pikachu box! I yelled as I jumped back onto my bed while Ike started laughing. Okay, 1, that made no sense. And 2, don't even think about shutting the TV off again, Ike said to me with a chuckle. 1 says the Path of Radiance game on drugs, and 2, I've already screwed up on making this creepypasta scary, I said with a sarcastic tone. I mean, it looks more like a comedy than a creepypasta. Well, I know it'll get better. Let's actually start this time, please, Ike said to me before his head disappeared. Suddenly, my door shut by itself, and the curtains closed so you couldn't see out the windows. The opening cutscene finally showed up, which looked normal. I skipped right through it and went to the title screen, which also looks normal. I pressed start and went to the file selection screen, but it wasn't normal. Instead of there being 5 green bars, there was only 1 bar, but it was red and only said, "Play me." The hand to select the file was bloody, and the background was black and bloody. I selected the file and started the game itself. However, the game went right to the first battle, skipping the first cutscene and battle conversations and stuff. The battle took place in a room, like some kind of old palace room. The background was all foggy, all the enemy units were lined up against the walls. Ike was the only playable character, and the objective was to seize the throne. The throne to what? The enemy units all wore black armor. Moved Ike up a couple spaces and it turned into the enemy mode. One of the enemies walked up to Ike and started the battle conversation. Then I saw Ike's portrait, but his eyes were black, had red slits, and his eyes were bleeding. The enemy unit's name was Titania, and she started the conversation. "Ike, do you remember me? It's me, Titania, Deputy Commander of the Grail Mercenaries," she asked Ike. I was shocked. How come she was an enemy unit? Dot, 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 Ike said. The battle started, but for some reason Ike had 0 HP. He won the battle right away. There was no death quote, but instead of the body disappearing after the enemy dies, the body just fell to the floor and bled. Another unit walked up to Ike and had a battle conversation, this time. This unit's name was Void. "Why, Ike? Why have you turned to the dark side?" he asked Ike. Ike gave the same expression from the first time. The battle ended the same way Ike fought Titania, Void's body falling to the ground, bleeding. As I fought more enemy units, I realized there were all of the playable characters in the game besides Ike. I've never played the game before, but I do know a lot about the Tellius series. Ike gave the same dot 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 expression to every battle conversation, and each battle ended the exact same way. I was scared, seeing all the blood and dead bodies on the floor. After a while, Ike walked up to the boss, who was Ashnard. Instead of a normal battle conversation, a cutscene played. "You did this, didn't you?" Ike said. Not only were his eyes black, had red slits, and were bleeding, but he was now covered from head to toe in blood. "It was not me, my boy. You were the one that killed everyone. I'm actually proud of you, joining the dark side," Ashnard said to Ike while sitting on the throne. Ike seemed unaware that he had just killed all of his friends. "You did this to me, didn't you? Dragging me to the dark side. You made me kill everyone. My best friend, my little sister, everyone," Ike said with a dark tone. "What the hell is going on?" I exclaimed, scared and confused. "Congratulations. You figured it out. It was me after all," Ashnard exclaimed happily. Ike stood silent, with his head down. After a while, he started to laugh quietly. Then it grew into an insane laugh. "I'll kill you!" Ike shouted. Then he leaped to Ashnard to kill him. Suddenly, Ike started singing a familiar song. It was a Toho song. Why is Ike singing a Toho song in a Fire Emblem game? I remember it being called "Are You Nuts?" Ike sang while slashing the crap out of Ashnard. After the song was over, about 4 minutes later, Ashnard's dead body laid on the floor, bleeding rapidly. His right eyeball hanging out of its socket, covered in blood, and his guts were hanging out of his stomach. The sight was so gruesome that I was ready to throw up. But before I could reach over to my trash barrel and throw up, Ike said to me, "Can you wait a little longer?" Then Ike sat in the throne as spirits of all the playable characters rose up and surrounded Ike. "All hail King Ike, Emperor of the Spirit World," the spirits exclaimed. "The Spirit World?" I said sarcastically. "Let's be talking about Talia since Ike killed everyone. Plus, it sounds like the transmo from Toho 13. A golden but bloody crown was suddenly placed on Ike's head. He started laughing insanely as he took out Ragnell and slashed the screen, which made it turn completely black. The laughter ceased and the screen stayed black for a little bit. Then Ike spoke to me. "Thank you for freeing me. If Ashnar was killed, I would be free." My jaw dropped as I realized that I, the sticky note, was Ike. "You can turn your Wii off now." Oh, and one last thing. A picture suddenly showed up on the screen. Ike stood in the middle of the screen, holding a bloody Ragnell in his right hand, and Ashnar's disembodied head in his left, with the eyeball still hanging there, looking as if it's about to fall off. Ike was covered in blood, his neck bleeding rapidly, his head tilted towards the right, his eyes still black with red slits, an insane smile that stretched from ear to ear. The background was black and bloody. On the bottom of the screen, the words said, "Prepare yourself," but red and bloody. I was so scared that I will never see anything scarier than that again. Ike said one last thing to me, followed by an insane laugh. "See you soon." I shut the Wii off, and the TV right away. The curtains and door opened up, letting me free. I started crying so much about how scared I was. "That's it. I'm never playing Fire Emblem again. I'm going back to Zelda," I exclaimed, scared to death. I heard a knock at my door. I went to the door and opened it, and I saw Ike himself standing there, his eyes a normal blue instead of being black and red. "What do you want, you sick monster?" I shouted at Ike, despite my fangirlish love for him. "I'm here to take you home," he said sweetly. What the hell are you talking about? This is my home!" I shouted. He held out his left hand and said to me, "Come on, let me bring you home, child," and stepped back and exclaimed, "No way! Absolutely not!" He put his hand down, gave me a dark stare, and said to me, "Fine, have it your way." He took out Ragnell and stabbed me right in the chest. I never knew I was going to be murdered by one of my favorite video game shooters of all time. As I pulled the sword out, I fell to the ground. Weakly, I asked, "Why?" Then my body went motionless. I grinned a little, picked up my dead body, carried me bridal style, and said, "Shush, you are now one with Telius," and walked away without shutting the door. I'll never look at him in the same way again.